Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to be diving into something kind of different today.
Different. How so?
Well, it's still in the world of tech and innovation, obviously, but we're zeroing in on a specific career path today, something that really caught my eye. Footwear 3D developers.
Footwear 3D developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the folks who design those cutting-edge shoes using 3D modeling and all sorts of cool, sustainable material.
Oh, interesting. I've seen some of those shoes, the ones with those crazy intricate designs, like those lattice structures. They're super lightweight, right?
Exactly. And that's where these footwear 3D developers come in. They're like the architects of the shoe world,
Yeah.
but with a high-tech twist, of course. So, to help us unpack this, I reached out to our friends over at RoleCatcher. They're a career development platform, and they actually have some really great resources about this whole field.
RoleCatcher, huh? I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They don't just tell you about jobs, they help you actually get them.
Oh, that's super practical. I like that.
Mm.
So what's their take on footwear 3D developers? What makes this career path tick?
Well, they actually have this line in one of their guides that I thought was really cool. It says, "Picture yourself where every design decision matters." And I think that really captures the essence of what these developers do, you know?
It's true. Every little detail, from the materials to the shape of the shoe, can impact its performance, its comfort, even its environmental footprint.
And that's something they emphasize a lot, the sustainability aspect. It's not just about aesthetics anymore. It's about creating footwear that's good for the planet, too.
Which is huge these days. People are way more conscious about what they're buying. They want to know where their shoes are coming from, what they're made of.
Right. And that's where these, what do they call them again?
Footwear 3D developers.
Yes. Footwear 3D developers, they're at the forefront of this whole movement, using things like vegan leather, recycled ocean plastic. You know, they're really changing the game.
It's like they're not just designing shoes, they're designing a more sustainable future.
It's true. And the best part is this field is just exploding right now.
Yeah.
There's so much demand for skilled footwear 3D developers.
So where do we even start? Like, what do these developers actually do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, that's the beauty of these role catcher guides. They break it all down. They have descriptions for junior developers, intermediate, all the way up to senior roles. You can really see how the responsibilities evolve as you gain more experience.
So, like, a junior developer might be, what, like assisting with 3D modeling, maybe learning the ropes of a specific software program?
Exactly. They might be doing things like creating 3D models of shoe designs, or maybe even just parts of shoes, like those intricate lattice structures we were talking about earlier.
Ah, right. Those are cool. But they take a lot of precision to design, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where those 3D modeling skills come in. They need to be able to create designs that are both aesthetically pleasing and functional.
And I'm guessing as they gain experience, they start taking on more responsibility, like leading projects, maybe even managing teams.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they might start specializing in certain areas too. Like some developers might focus on sustainability, while others might focus on performance footwear, you know, like for athletes.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of career path.
Not at all. There's so much room for growth and specialization. But I think the one thing that all footwear 3D developers share is this passion for innovation.
And for shoes, let's not forget about that.
Of course, you gotta love shoes to do this job. But it's more than just that. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible, using technology to create something that's both beautiful and functional and sustainable too.
It's like this perfect blend of art, tech, and a little bit of environmental activism.
I love that. Art, tech, and environmental activism. That's footwear 3D development in a nutshell.
It really is amazing when you think about it. Like, you're shaping the future of footwear with every click of the mouse.
Right. And speaking of the future, RoleCatcher also gets into the nitty-gritty of what it's actually like to work in this field, you know, the pros and cons.
Oh, yeah, because no job is perfect, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be some trade-offs.
Exactly. And they're pretty upfront about it. Like they say it's a field with high demand, creative work, opportunity for innovation.
Okay, so that sounds pretty amazing, but there's a but coming, isn't there?
Well, they also mention high competition, long hours.
Ah, so they catch, which makes sense. I mean, fashion is known for being pretty demanding, right?
Definitely. And when you add in the whole tech element, the pace probably kicks into overdrive. Like you're not just keeping up with trends, you're trying to stay ahead of them.
Totally. But still, imagine getting to design those next level shoes, the ones that athletes are going to be wearing, breaking records in. I bet that's got to be exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I love about these role catcher guides. They give you these little glimpses into what that kind of work actually looks like.
So give me an example. Like, what would a footwear 3D developer be doing if they were, say, designing a new line of running shoes?
Okay, so imagine this. You're not just sketching out a design on paper, right? You're using algorithms, maybe even looking at like the biomechanics of a cheetah's paw or something.
Whoa, seriously? They're getting that high tech with it.
Yeah. It's about optimizing every single element of the shoe for flexibility, speed, all while making sure it's still lightweight and comfortable.
It's like mind-blowing. And I'm guessing the sustainability aspect comes into play here too.
Absolutely. They might be experimenting with like a new plant-based leather alternative
Huh.
or figuring out how to use recycled rubber in the soles.
Wow, so it's not just about making a cool-looking shoe, it's about making one that's good for the planet too.
Exactly. And that takes a lot of creativity, you
Yeah.
know, to balance all of those factors. Performance, sustainability, aesthetics.
It's like a juggling act. So I bet you need a pretty unique skill set to make it in this field.
Definitely. You need that artistic vision for sure, but also the technical chops to actually bring those designs to life using 3D modeling software.
And probably a good grasp of those sustainability principles too, right? Like knowing what materials have the least environmental impact.
Right. They talk about that a lot in the guides, actually, like understanding things like design for disassembly.
Design for disassembly, what's that mean?
It's basically this idea of designing a shoe so that it can be easily taken apart at the end of its life. That way, the materials can be recycled or repurposed more effectively.
Oh, that's smart. So they're thinking about the entire life cycle of the shoe, from creation to disposal.
Exactly. It's a whole different way of approaching design.
It probably requires a lot of collaboration too, right? Like working with manufacturers, materials, scientists.
Oh, totally. It's a team effort for sure. But I think that's part of what makes it so rewarding.
Yeah, to see your creation come to life, knowing that you're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, that's got to be a pretty awesome feeling.
And knowing that you're contributing to a more sustainable future, too.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about the design process, but what about the role of 3D printing? I know that's becoming a big deal in footwear.
Huge. And RoleCatcher actually highlights it as one of the biggest game changers in the industry. Like, they say it has the potential to revolutionize the way we even buy shoes.
Revolutionized how we buy shoes. How so?
Well, imagine a world where you walk into a store, you get your feet scanned, and then boom, you walk out with a pair of shoes perfectly customized to your foot shape and gait.
Wow, so no more trying on a million pairs, hoping to find one that fits just right.
Exactly. It's like having shoes made just for you.
That would be amazing.
Mm.
Especially for people who have, foot problems or trouble finding shoes that fit comfortably.
And not just comfort, performance too. Imagine athletes getting shoes designed specifically for their foot strike and running style. It could be a game changer.
So it's like mass customization on a whole new level.
Totally. And then there's the environmental impact too.
Oh, right, because with 3D printing, you're only using the material you need, right? So there's less waste.
Exactly. And you can print on demand, so there's no need for huge factories churning out tons of shoes that might end up unsold.
It's like a win-win for everyone. The consumer gets a better product, and the planet's a little bit happier too.
It's like this whole new world of possibilities opening up for both consumers and the industry itself.
And it's exciting to think about where this technology could go next, right?
Yeah,
Like what innovations we haven't even dreamed of yet.
absolutely. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about what it actually takes to become a footwear 3D developer.
Right, because someone's got to design all those amazing shoes of the future.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher has some really good advice for anyone looking to break into this field. Like, one thing they emphasize is the importance of building a strong digital portfolio.
Makes sense. I mean, you're not just handing in a resume and a cover letter anymore, right? You've got to show them what you can do.
Exactly. They say it's about showcasing your 3D modeling skills, your design aesthetic, even your understanding of sustainable practices. You got to walk the walk.
So how do you actually do that? Like, what does a digital portfolio for a footwear 3D developer even look like?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's platform comes in handy. They have all these tools built in. You can create an online profile, upload examples of your work,
Oh, so it's like a LinkedIn specifically for footwear designers.
basically.
No.
But with a focus on the 3D modeling and tech side of things too. And get this, they even have resources on using AI to help you get noticed by recruiters.
No way. AI for your job search, that's wild.
I know, right? It's like
Yeah.
everything about this field is being touched by technology, from the shoes themselves to how you design them to even how you get hired.
It's like we're stepping into the future one shoe at a time.
I love that. Stepping into the future, one shoe at a time. Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive into the world of footwear 3D developers.
It's been fascinating, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
no, right? We've covered so much ground, from the intricacies of 3D modeling to the global impact of sustainable footwear. It's amazing to see how all these elements come together.
And how much creativity and innovation is happening in this space.
Absolutely. So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired, I highly recommend checking out RoleCatcher. Their guides were super helpful for us in putting this episode together, and they have a ton of great resources on their website. We'll be sure to link to them in the show notes.
Definitely worth a look for anyone curious about this field.
Totally. And as we wrap up, I wanted to leave our listeners with a question to ponder. What role do you think technology, sustainability, and creativity will play in shaping the shoes of the future? Let us know your thoughts. And until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep those minds curious.